Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of August 29th through September 4th of 2022. Alright, so this week we have essentially the energy coming off of a new moon. We just had the new moon last Friday and Saturday, and so it is still the very early phase of the cycle coming into this week. Good to take things slowly build some momentum through this very early phase of the lunar cycle. Once we do get to the later part of the week, though, we will enter into the first quarter moon, which is good to challenge ourselves and take more action and implement things, which is the more action-oriented phase of the cycle. But the early part is definitely quiet, even with the aspects as well. No major aspects until about Thursday. Thursday, Mars, the planet of drive, will be in a sextile with Jupiter, an opening with expansive Jupiter to perhaps take some of that drive and energy and expand our horizons. Maybe a bit of optimism, maybe a bit of hopefulness, maybe some adventurousness. Open-mindedness can be a great way of working with what is just available with that sextile. Now Friday, that Mercury in this case, the planet of our mind, will be opposite that Jupiter. And so we could have perhaps a bit of an expansive mind, maybe thinking more theoretical, more bigger picture. Good to maybe see that more abstract view of life. And then over the weekend, we do have a nice trine. It doesn't go exact because Mercury is slowing down. Mercury is going to go retrograde late next week. But that Mercury will be trining up to active Mars. So our minds will get a nice support with maybe some assertiveness, some fire, some directness. And a lot of this can be channeled into perhaps learning or communication. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, August 29th. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. You will notice the signs are different. For example, we just had a new moon in Sidereal Leo, in the visible sky, but you may have heard it be in Virgo. So if you do notice the signs change, definitely check out the link down below for more information on true sidereal astrology. All right, so let's do a bit of a recap here. What do we have coming into this week? Well, most importantly is the new moon energy. We're going to be in the crescent phase, the early phase of the lunar month coming into the week. So the energies are at their lowest and just slowly building momentum. But it is good to do that. It's a good early part of the week for experimenting, trying new things, getting our feet wet, and seeing what slowly starts to emerge out of this. And again, by the later part of the week, we'll have a more clear idea on what that is or what we can really take action towards or really challenge ourselves with over the weekend to further develop. But the early part, really good for that sort of listening. Now, the sun is, of course, in Leo. That is where the lunar cycle started. So adding to this with Venus, it is a great time to be focusing on self-expression. All right, focusing on the things and people that we love in life and want to connect to and enjoy and express ourselves. Great time for playfulness, creativity, fun, humor, right? The expressive qualities of life and any intentions around that is fantastic. Now, with that being said, the early part of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even the early part of Thursday, we'll have the moon in the next sign of Virgo, which deals more with improvement. Okay, Virgo coming after Leo is the evolution of coming from perhaps love and passion, but then actually implementing it into tangible things or into the real world, which is Virgo. So Virgo is all about improvement, improving our lives, improving ourselves, our situations, taking some of that creative life force of Leo, but then actually doing the work with it, implementing it into our lives, which could be through our work, it could be through our service, it could be through developing perhaps more of the skills behind some of that creative energy, right? This is a great way of working with really the majority of the week, really the work week, we could say Monday all the way through the early part of Thursday here, okay? And as you can see here, there is no major aspects during this early part of the week up until here about the Thursday time period. So the emphasis will be on the Virgo. We will be coming off of some of that square with Mars. The new moon has a square with Mars. So this whole lunar cycle is good for finding balance with that fiery side, the assertive side, the independent side, the active side, the direct side of ourselves, which is Mars. Okay, so any over or under extremes with that will likely counterbalance to the other extreme, like a pendulum. So as we walk a more middle path with that fire, it does tend to balance it out, and it becomes very constructive. But that's, the strongest energy of that, I would have said, would have been over the weekend of last week. And so that is easing up coming into the week. Although we do have a lot of aspects with Mars, but they're certainly on the more easier side. Okay. And that is where, first of all, on Thursday, we'll probably start to feel it as early as Wednesday, that Mars is going to be in a nice harmony with Jupiter, the expansive planet. Now, it's not a major harmony, it's not a trine, but a sextile is still an easier aspect, and it is an opening. Okay, I like to think of them as doors opening that we can choose or choose not to walk through. And in this case, are there some things we can be optimistic about, hopeful about, inspired about, in terms of where we're putting our action and our energy? Maybe we can tap into some of that adventurousness, free-spiritedness, right? Willingness to have new experiences, to expand our worldview, to expand our mind, or expand our perspective when it comes to where we want to put our action. And so in this way, it becomes very constructive, and it's an opening here to utilize some of this fire that is certainly, again, in more of a harmony this week, but still good to integrate because, again, this whole lunar cycle will be in that square energy with Mars. Okay, but along with this, as we do get to the later part of Thursday, the moon will come out of that improvement-oriented Virgo, and by late Thursday and all day Friday, we'll have the moon in Libra, the scales, okay, which places a theme on bringing balance into our lives. Okay, and so if there's any areas out of balance, it's good to bring those into balance. There can be a lot of themes around fairness, justice, and relationships, doing the right thing, what's fair, mutual, things like this. Okay, but that's probably going to take a little more of a minor role just because we do have these aspects starting to go exact here around Thursday. So the other one is going to be on Friday, where Mercury, the planet of our minds, our practical mind, is going to be in an opposition to Jupiter, what we could say is our expansive mind. Okay, and so these are in many ways polarities, right? Mercury's the practical, Jupiter's the abstract. Mercury's the day-to-day, Jupiter's the free-spirited. And so they could seem at odds with the opposition. There could be some pendulum swing. But this is a great opportunity to merge the two together. We can be very distinctly aware of the two. The practical life and the free-spirited life. The practical, abstracts, practical, mental perspective, and then the abstract perspective. All right. And so merging these two together is the remedy. It can be very constructive. It's a great opportunity. It is Jupiter. Jupiter's benefic. It's more easier anyways. And so we have this great opportunity to bring in some of that expansiveness to our practical minds and some of the practicality to the abstract mind, to ground things, implement them, if there are perspectives or opportunities that we are becoming aware of with these two Jupiter aspects this week. Okay. And once we do get to the Saturday time period, the moon will shift into deep Scorpio. And this is where we come to, again, the first quarter moon, where the sun and moon are in a square and in just very different signs. We can see by their descriptions. Leo's about self-expression, passion, playfulness. Scorpio is about depth, truth, intimacy, deep, raw, candid connection to life. And of course, these can be harmonized. In fact, it is very constructive when they do. A good example is humor. Humor is actually very healing. It is about laughter. It is about humor. It's about playfulness. But what is actually funny is when it's healing, when it's therapeutic, when it speaks to something that is deep within that we can release through a laughter or through a healing process. Right? And so this is where the self-expression of Leo can unite with the deep, raw Scorpio, right? In these kinds of contexts, or maybe deeper creativity, rawness, realness, right? So how can we integrate that real, raw energy of life into our self-expression? And also vice versa. Bring some of that light of Leo, the lighter light, into the deeper world. And lift it up and make it humorous, let's say, or something to laugh about and heal. Not take it too seriously, let's say. All right, so this kind of a thing can be very constructive. This is coming to our first challenges of the lunar cycle in that first quarter square. But again, it's that we want to challenge ourselves. And if we do challenge ourselves in, again, what we could say integrating the fire with the water, the expressive with the depth, then this is a great way of working with it. But really anything we set out to do this new lunar cycle, good to challenge ourselves with over the weekend, and we can find it a great time to do that. Okay, so over the weekend there's a deep Scorpio, also deep Ophiuchus on Sunday. Okay, so Ophiuchus very similar to Scorpio, but deals more with healing. And so actually maybe doing some healing, whether it's physical or spiritual, could be great around the Sunday time period. Now this whole Saturday and Sunday with that depth, we do have another easier aspect, and this is Mercury, the planet of mind, in a trine, in a very supportive element to that fiery Mars. Now it's not going exact, so it's not going to be as strong because Mercury is slowing down. Mercury is going to go retrograde late next week around Saturday. And so Mercury gets very close to Mars, to the trine with Mars, but it's slowing down now, slower than Mars. So it doesn't quite contact in the exact, but still something to be aware of that we can utilize. And in this case, yeah, maybe some of that fire and that assertiveness can come through the mental activities, which are getting activated this week with Mercury and Jupiter. And maybe with those communications as well, as Mercury can often involve communication, some of the easier to be direct or assertive or anything needing or requiring communications, we can have that fiery capacity to utilize, or some of that initiative to utilize, or directness to utilize, or the communication of our needs and stuff like this can come across easier, during these sort of trines. All right, everyone. So that is the week in a nutshell. All in all, it's not, a huge, cataclysmic week with a lot of important aspects or some major shifts, but still, of course, important things here. The new cycle just starting, new lunar month, great to build momentum, integrate, challenge ourselves to integrate the later part of the week. We have some nice openings with fire, Mars, assertiveness, Jupiter, expansion. All right, we got some expansion with the practical as well, with Mercury opposite Jupiter and our minds as well. And then some of the fire for our minds and communications over the weekend here. All right. So everyone, have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, it is a free newsletter where you do get these videos released first before YouTube. If you're not yet signed up, there's a link down below. It's absolutely free. But have a great week, everyone. Thank you again for all of your support. And I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.